Hi everyone, Jai Hind, Jai Bharat, Jai Mata Di. This video is going to be very different from my normal videos because today this video is going to be a tribute to a legend who was, I would say, larger than life figure, a person who has given it all to the maritime industry. And embarrassingly, I would say कि I had never heard about him. But when I heard about him, I always wanted कि चलो मुझे इनके ऊपर I need more information. I would love to make a video. So out here, unfortunately, Captain Harry Subramaniam sir, who has touched lives of thousands of mariners in his entire career. If thousands, I would say that would be a small figure. But I've got a son today, Captain Hari Subramaniam, who is doing great today in his own domain. But this video is going to be about Captain Hari Subramaniam, about his life. And there were things that when I was doing a brief video, the intro with Captain Hari Subramaniam before starting this. So he said a lot of things like, my career was nicely difficult. Then why it was? What was the last message that Captain Harry Subramaniam gave to his son, who is sitting with us right now, while he was talking about shipping industry? What made him so passionate, and how has he changed lives of these thousands of seafarers? So, first of all, thank you very much, sir, Captain Saab. Thank you very much for coming on this podcast, sir.
My pleasure, Pradeep. Thanks for having me, actually. Very happy to share.
So let's start from the very beginning. You told me, sir, yeah, you're a South Indian, a Keralite who was born in Mumbai, just because your father was from shipping industry. So, sir, in brief, can you tell us little bit about your father, like about his upbringing? Where was he born? How did he join merchant navy? In brief.
So, Dad, his story is also very different because he was a self-made person. So, my grandfather, actually, he passed away when my father was very young. So, my grandmother was, I think, 14 when she got married and 24 when she became a widow. And my father was 8 years old and they were studying in Uttakamand. And my grandfather was actually an industrialist at that time. This is and in 1950, he passed away in an air crash. So that time, I mean, navigational planes were very little and weather situations, altimeters were all not advanced as now. So visibility was bad and the flight crashed into a pillar. That is a mountain like a cliff. And there were no survivors and they never found any bodies and all that stuff. So he was then, after that, my grandmother brought up these four children of hers and all became successful in their own right. But my father's uncle, Captain Vancheshwar, who's still alive now, and he stays in Chembur, and I'm going to be meeting him over the weekend at the company of Master Mariners dinner. He was already working as a captain, and he was already in the ministry. So I'm meeting Captain Vancheshwar over the weekend. He's about 90 plus 93 or 94. But he was the inspiration for my father to go out to sea. He was nautical advisor at that time in the 60s. And yeah, so dad was very keen to go out to sea, and then he was this thing. And after that, he joined training ship Dufferin and came out with flying colors. And then after that, he went out to sea. That time it was India's steamships, and he was India's out and out. And then after that, he came ashore and he joined. He had this huge passion about teaching and making a difference. And then he came ashore and he was with one job throughout. He was with the Lal Bahadur Shastri Nautical and Engineering College. He joined as a lecturer and 35 years into service, and then he retired as principal in 2002.
2002, he retired as a principal.
Yeah.
And for 35 years. So for how long was he as a in LBS college? For 35 years. So around minimum, sir, at least thousands of at least 10,000 seafarers, maybe more than that, he
Yeah.
must have come across in that tenure, whose life he might have impacted directly, I would say.
I guess so. I mean, and the more
Minimum.
and more I meet people now, 3 years after he's moved on, gone on a new journey. Even now, when I meet people, I still get stories which I have never heard of. People I've never met before, but I'm already family because they know him and he's graced their lives. So it's amazing. I mean, I'm really blessed. I've got such a large family,
So,
so many well-wishers.
sir, after which year did you retire from LBS college, sir?
2002, he retired from LBS.
And then what was his next thing? What was
Then he was doing some training for Eurasia Ship Management. He was in charge of their training and this thing, and of course post sea courses and all that. And then for a few years, and then after that, then He was just doing guest lectures, taking orals in MMD as an external. And of course, we've got the books which he's written, 8 textbooks, nautical textbooks, which, yeah, part of the Vijaya publications, which are still used as textbooks in the examination systems in India and in many other countries. So he's
Wow.
left that as a legacy. So it's now my mom helping my mom still keep the books supplied. And they're like very cheap in the senses, the books will be about some 400 or 500 rupees abhi tak. And I used to ask dad, but itna market and all that. So he's saying, beta, this is not something to make money. This is something which students come ashore when they're staying for 1 year without salary. It must be affordable for them. Promise me that whenever you're looking after this or helping mother to look after this, it will always be affordable. Don't even think of making this a money business, because it's never the intention and it never will. The day you try to do that, I can tell you that it will not run. This is my blessings.
These are क्या बात है, क्या बात है. Sir, your dad had a larger than life figure. See, so you were so intrigued towards joining Merchant Navy just because after seeing him as a role model, or were there any other reasons that you chose Merchant Navy? और कभी ऐसा नहीं लगा यार पापा मर्चेंट नेवी में है, I've seen him struggling so much, और इतनी सारी बातें सुनी हो तो लगा हो कि नहीं मर्चेंट नेवी ज्वाइन नहीं करूंगा? What was the ambience around at home? What were the talks around at home when you were
So,
growing up?
so if you knew father, my dad, he used to run a tight ship. You think I had a choice?
अच्छा सर, I have never met him.
When
तो सर
pehle
being from
I
engineering
think people
background,
who
never
know
read his
him and
books.
see this video must be actually like having a good laugh, because
Tight
when
ship
I was
मतलब
born,
सर
जैसे
very
3 Idiots
strict.
में बोलते हैं ना, ओ वायरस देखते हैं तू engineer बनेगा, तो I think when I was born उसने टोली देगा, he said you're going to become like sailor, you're going merchant navy. So
You're
I
going to
did not
become a
have
deck
a choice
cadet.
to make. And there was no discussion when I was growing up until I went out to see. He was a strict father, I see वो आता था ही फटती थी. I mean, no discussion, nothing. When what are you doing there? Daddy, like एकदम like नजरे नीचे, hand down. It was like I was very scared of him. And not that he used to whack me and all that, but it was there. The voice, his tone. He used to have a strict face. Just his personality was so much. So there was no discussion.
So जाना
Choice
ही
ही
था.
नहीं था. So my son asked me now. My son is now doing his 12th over here, equivalent in Singapore, and he was saying, "ये career choice, ये college, ये वो." He's saying, "How did you go through all this?" I said, "मेरे को कोई choice ही नहीं दिया. I had only one way. I was a one-trick pony." He's saying, "Sometimes it was better that way." And to come to think of it, हाँ यार, it was actually much
सही
better
बात है,
that way.
कंफ्यूजन है ही नहीं लाइफ में, यही करना है बस.
Focus था. I mean, from the time you were born, focus, and there was no question of discussion. I have decided.
Wow, wow, wow. Sir, so he was always strict with you. Yeah, he was always strict to a particular, like still you were in class 12th and later on he became casual with you when you joined C, or he was always strict throughout.
No. So after I went out to sea and I came back, and that's what after my first trip I come back and then we're sharing experiences. And then he said, "Come, let's have a drink together." First drink with my
क्या
dad, kind of thing.
बात
So
है, क्या बात है.
yeah, and
I'm
that
still
was
waiting my father to say that thing कि पापा एक बार चल आजा नाल पीने बैठ के.
no, and then we became good friends. Okay, up to a point, because he was still the principal of the nautical college. So during the college hours, it was amazing how he could multitask. So when college hours in the college and this thing, he used to be very professional, proper, and all that stuff. And sometimes he used to scold me also in front of everybody. Hey, you come here. Why are you not wearing proper t-shirt with collar and all that? And then later in the evening, when he comes home after working hours, kind of this thing, to this flip used to switch, and he was the lovable dad. It was amazing how he used to. And I'm very blessed that I had this childhood, parents like this. My mom's also been amazing parents, like very blessed. Ke childhood mein agar if I had to rewind and I had to change even one thing, I'm going to struggle here. I mean, it was blessed role model parents, and even today that gives me that thing. If I have to arrive at any decision in life, like how to benchmark the family equation, me and my wife, our behavior in front of the children, in front of outsiders, and all that, it was like amazing. I mean, I just have to close my eyes and think, कि पापा मम्मी कैसे करते थे, and kind of I got the answer over there. So working template था उधर, blueprint है.
Sir, very rightly you said कि I wouldn't change anything, whatever happened in the past. But sir, before when we were talking just before this podcast, you said that my career has been nicely difficult. So, sir, you were in a shadow, I would say, of your father initially. Everybody must have compared you, sir. हो ही नहीं सकता ना हुआ हो.
I'm
So
still in the shadow.
I'm
अभी
still
भी
in the
shadow
shadow. So
but
you said the word was very nicely coined, nicely difficult. So I would love to know that again. Why was it nicely difficult?
So I'll give you. So if Sachin Tendulkar's son went out to bat on the crease, can you imagine the pressure on him? He's carrying like the hopes of like a legend on his shoulders, and then he had to hit his 30 or 50 hundreds in that one first 50 games only. So it was always like that. But initially, it never used to make so much of a difference. But of course, like I was sailing in Great Eastern, आजा आजा बड़े आदमी का लड़का बेटा है, आजा तू तेरी बजाता all in the better spirit, but that's the way you become men and you learn, सीखते हैं कि bilges में साला तेरा बाप ने मेरा बजाया, I'm go down to the bilges and trace the pipeline. But it was their nice way of saying it, like, because nobody had that malicious this thing towards him, but it was just that familiarity, like a way of recognizing and saying this thing. So initially it was very jarring for me because I'm not used to that. And then afterwards, I kind of embraced it and I said, wow, like kind of, it is wherever I got, actually, I'm got family everywhere. Everybody is like
And
family.
when did this actually happen? मतलब see initial phase में तो सर मुझे लगता है कि अगर if I had been on your place, I would have resented it कि छोटी छोटी बात पे नहीं आता तो जैसे मुझे सुनने को मिलता होगा when I did not answer, अरे तेरे को ये भी नहीं आता, what did your college taught you? But आपके केस में होता होगा what did your father taught you? हो सकता है
So,
सर.
okay, your generation and my generation are also different.
Okay.
I went out to sea in the early 90s. And that is the time where cadets are seen and not heard. Now you've got human rights and all that, this thing. हम लोग का सिर्फ right or left or upper cut मिलता था. You had that hierarchy. It was very hierarchical and good. Chain of command, the respect, you learn to respect your seniors. It was there. Now and all, actually, your cadet captain will say, cadet, you can call me by first name and all. Bidu and all. I mean, it's a little less formal, sometimes casual, because of just generational changes. I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but we had it as proper hierarchy, respect kind of thing. And even senior cadet, junior cadet, like we used to call them sir and this thing, that thing. It used to be a very different thing. But उसमें क्या होता था ना, एक brotherhood होता था, and you learn to this thing. So yeah, I used to kind of resent it, but for the first few months, I didn't know whether I was coming or going जहाज पे. So, सोने को time नहीं, I didn't have time to feel bad. बाद में देख लेगा. But then there
When was
reached a
the
time where
when was the time you realized that you are in the wings of a magician and he's always there to support you? Yeah, you really
yeah,
embraced.
the full effect of that I got is when he passed away. When I saw the industry rally and this thing. So when he passed away in the first round of COVID, June 29th, 2020.
He
So
was
when he
all
went,
right, or suddenly it happened. It was because of COVID.
yeah, COVID, he died of COVID. So 1 week, I was doing a webinar with him on the 15th of June with Captain Kalon and he's the dad's batchmate, Senior Kalon, and some cadets aspiring to go out to sea and all that. We had a webinar. And that time I realized he was not in top form. That was 15th of June. I got screenshots also of that webinar. The first time we were doing webinar together, talking, speaking, and all that. So as usual, मैं t-shirt में था. He was in a suit over there. And from working from home, and I was saying, Dad, take them prim and proper. He's come like the true ex-principal of the college, and I've come like a true ex-student of the college. I was in a t-shirt, and मुझे सोचा, I thought he'll get shouted at. I mean, he'll get bajaued in front of all the children over there. But no, he wasn't. He was not. He was a little. The voice was a little low key. Then afterwards, I called mom, and he said, no, he's got fever. He didn't want to tell you. All will worry. So fever ठीक हो गया था. Doctor भी also was watching, and then suddenly my cousins who are living over there had bought an oximeter over there, and his oxygen was 89, and his voice was getting a little hoarse. This was on, I think, the 25th or 24th or something. And everybody was telling him, Daddy, come, we have to go to the hospital, this thing, that thing. You can't talk to my dad like that. And although the daughter is the favorite, and I'm sure she's going to hate me after hearing this video, but I had a special place in his heart because
Oh God,
master to master में
she is definitely going to.
yeah. But of course, daughters always have that special place. But as son, I had a special place because I knew how to approach him. I had learned how to approach him and talk to him. I told him that everybody is worried. आप जाइए ना, just जाके oxygen डाल के get on this thing. You'll be fine. You'll come back. COVID कुछ नहीं होगा. Don't worry. He was actually sitting and updating his practical navigation book because it was going for this thing and all that. I still have that file with that last timestamp. I have not changed that file. The last timestamp on that file when he was working on it. Okay, because you're saying I'll go, like, kind of he croaked, he basically. And then, of course, they took him out. His oxygen level was dropping, and that was the time they went. So many hospitals, they were not willing to take him because of COVID, this thing, that thing. Finally, he left home at around 7 p.m. and my brother-in-law, sister, cousins, and my cousins from all over trying to call up this hospital, that hospital. Finally, he got into a hospital which was in Chembur, which was about around after midnight, and his oxygen, blood oxygen has come down to 60. But he still walked into a hospital as usual. My mom was saying, typical your dad, no? He took off all that mask and all, and he's walking out. And everyone is saying, where are you going? Arey, pesha baat hai kya? Pura tanki leke susu karega. He's like, in full form he is. And he had always said, when I go into hospital, I will walk into the hospital like a share. And he walked into the hospital and he said, he used to always say, I will never come out as a vegetable. If I come out, I'll come out fully fit. Nahi to udhar se hi, he'll make a joke like that. And my mom will say, why you're talking like this? ऐसे किया यार उसने. He like literally had a he had a passage plan and he executed it. So yeah, it was so that's when I realized, okay, then after he passed away, before he passed away, I was like, he was already in the ICU. I couldn't go. All the airports were closed. Then with a lot of industry support and all, I managed to catch a crew connecting flight into Mumbai, transit from Doha, Singapore, Doha, Doha. And yeah, and then I was in the hospital and I was in the hotel because undergoing my quarantine, but then he passed away that night. So my mom called me and said, "Tu aa gaya, beta, I have nothing to worry about. Mera chota daddy aa gaya." And I think he was waiting to hear that. Okay, mom said, "Okay, ठीक है, my about platelets, I can go." And he passed away that night. It was all going well, but suddenly he decided to flip the switch and bye bye. Morning, I'm sitting over there wondering कि body release नहीं होगा, जैसे COVID death and all that. And then there was a lot of WhatsApp was like in full form that time. WhatsApp was like the only mode of communication at that time, and everything was going on. But I was blurred there. 1:30 passed away in the morning. I was sitting in the bed, क्या करे? And then the phone rang, and then a lot of industry people got together, and then Mrs. Malini Shankar, then who was just the former DG, she managed to speak to somebody and all that, and then they got the body release, and I managed to attend. So the industry arranged a ambulance with the two people wearing the entire suit, and they said कहाँ cremate करना है. So we went to Chembur, we cremated. अस्थि भी मिल गया मुझे. So basically that was blessings there. As a son, what else can I ask for? Only son. अंतिम संस्कार करने के लिए, that is your privilege, that is your birthright, that is the only thing I can call privilege and birthright. And I was so sad I wouldn't get it. I was crying to my wife, इतना खराब हो गया कि अगर कुछ हो जाए, I will not get this opportunity. And I was saying, Dad, मैं करूंगा श्राद्ध, I'll do every time, every month I'll do, like an amavasya, I'll do your this thing, kriya. It means so much to me. And I think he heard that, and because earlier he had said to foreign mein ho, yeah, I mean, you may not be so important for you. I said, no, no, what is important to you is important to me. And yeah, he managed to kind of arrange everything, even though he was in the ICU. He still, with his eyes closed, I think he just put everything into place. It was because of his goodwill and his reputation that the industry stood up and held my hand at that time. There are so many names, I can't take all of them now. And if I take one and I don't take one, I'll feel bad. So everybody was there, and I got the Asti. I managed to do everything. 1 week later, they arranged a call. A company of Master Mariners of India, they arranged a Zoom YouTube call for a prayer meet. And I believe as per nearly close to 7,000 people heard it at the same time, including the Zoom में to 300 or something was the capacity, but YouTube, Facebook, the amount of people listening worldwide was really in thousands. And that was a time I also broke down, because that time when I saw the turnaround and the way people talking of him, I was wondering seriously, I was living with this God, and I did not realize it until this time. That was the true influence. That time I realized what a big family I have. What a big
What was
family I have.
I do not know how this session is getting so emotional. मैं अपनी मम्मी को याद I can imagine everything, मतलब चीजें रहती हैं. What was
But
the
I can't
last?
get emotional because he was that person. Everything was happiness, noise, dhoom dhamaka. Wherever he went into a room, explosion of energy. So anything happens, we have to remember him with happy thoughts. He wants to be celebrated for his life, and where there should be loud music and everything. Not like he would. It would destroy his soul to see us feeling sad and crying.
So when I hear such stories, my mother expired long time back. So I just get into that frame, imagining myself. When you're
Yes.
talking about, I'm just getting into that zone. What was I thinking? What was I doing? So I get emotional that way. So what was that last message from your dad when he was talking to you? There was a
Yeah, so it's
chat.
very ironic that whatever happens in life happens for a reason. The timing is also relevant. It's all like destiny, they say, So my dad was actually on visiting us in November 2019, just before the lockdowns. And he and I had gone for a walk over here in Singapore. So we live very close to the beach, a nice private secluded beach. So we used to go for walks. So I used to go usually running. So I went walking with him that day and we had a long chat. Mom never came for some reason. And in that, he explained to me what his plan was, how he wanted mom to live, what he rights he wanted her to enjoy, what support I was supposed to do, how much I must support her, that no restrictions, but oversight, and you have to be there, but kind of you should not like let her have her freedom. She's this thing. I'm that's what I expect of you. Be the backbone, but you really don't have to control her every move. So even now, poor thing, she'll ask me, I want to go there and see that person. Ma, go, ma, car is there, driver is there, go. Why are you asking me? I have to ask my little daddy. So it is really nice. And of course, by all means, kind of. I want to go with, the batchmates to meet. All of them, they dress here, batchmates, they go out together and they celebrate. They go out of town for 2, 3 days and all that. And many have already passed on. There are a few, and the few widows are also there. I said, go, mom, go enjoy. You represent him over there. He'll be so happy. And she goes, and we encourage it, kind of thing. So,
So
yeah, that
this
was
was
so the
about,
message.
yes, what
Yeah.
was the
And
message?
he told me, and about me, he said about you. I said, now what about me? I got defensive. So he told me, तुम क्या कर रहे हो life में? What are you doing? And I said, I am doing like I'm PNI engineer. Saying, नहीं, नहीं, all that I know what is your job title description, but what are you doing for the community? What are you doing for, how are you giving back to the society, the community? What are you doing? How are you grooming the next generation? What legacy are you leaving behind? He said, my generation is over. My time is over. You all are the current generation coming up. What are you doing? So I said, Abhi, I'm still settling in life. Abhi, I'm still building my blocks and all that. The time is not right. And he told me the time will never be right. Just do what little you can. Nobody's asking you to kind of like keep everything and make one big full concert or something. Do what little you can. Thoda thoda karo. Idhar udhar. This thing, join Company of Master Mariners of India. See what you can do. Go and give lectures. This thing, free lectures and this thing, training. Ye wo karke take part. You've got such a this thing being a PNI club. You've got so many resources. I said, yeah, okay, I'll do that, Dad. I'll do it in due course. And after he passed on, I think when he passed on, then suddenly all the avenues have opened. It's like as though like there is a space for one Subramaniam at that time, to ek gaya to dusra kind of. But it's scary because the opportunities sometimes I get, the platforms I get, the stages I get to speak at. Sometimes I don't think I'm worthy of it. I don't think I deserve to be there. Sometimes the introduction they give, वो लोग इतना बड़ा चढ़ा के इंट्रोडक्शन देता, I also feel like अरे नहीं, कुछ ज्यादा ही हो गया. नहीं, just calm में. I also feel shy. As much as I'm not a shy person, कभी कभी मैं I also feel like kind of, but I think it's just him giving me that opportunity to kind of do it, and I have grabbed it with both hands. I've been a warden with the company of Master Mariners. This is my second term in running from 2021 to now till I think till next year. Just trying to make that difference. And I'm not one to kind of be very excitable on WhatsApp and say, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. Just do it. Kind of, I'm not, because the person who I want to know I'm doing it is watching from top. I don't
Sir,
need to send him a WhatsApp.
I remember very distinctly the first time I watched you was in Global Maritime Summit when you were speaking on that podium, which was
Are
a
in
huge
uniform.
entire. Yeah, yeah, sir, you're looking so good in this video. I would love to see those portraits as well so that others can. And it's a huge podium, but it is something that you were doing. It is something that I can always dream of. Maybe 10 years later, एक दिन 20 साल बाद 25 साल 50 साल बाद. So it was such a huge thing that had happened. And आप ये मत बोलिए sir, you don't deserve it. You deserved every single bit of it.
You're
But
very
maybe,
kind, yeah. But
yes, sir, but you are maybe still in the big man shoes. And there is a lot more to be done from your end, from the industry's end. And sir, I want to say, no matter how much you do, you will always say, no matter you touch lakhs of people, you will always say, अरे नहीं, मैं पापा जितना नहीं कर पाया. ये तो सर रहेगा ही. This
and
will
that
always,
is not my aim. There are certain records that are not to be broken.
not even
And
to be touched.
shadow, you can look at shadow for two ways. You can look at shadow as darkness, or you can look at shadow as comfort from a very sunny life. And there are always, and there's always that very nice thing that you start, there's a meme over there, you see child is very good, my father's great. Then he reaches 10 years, my father's superb, my superhero. Then 16, my dad sometimes can be embarrassing. 30, I don't want to be seen anywhere in the same this thing. Then again, when you have your son at around 35, okay, my dad is so good. Then at 45, he sacrificed so much, kind of. And then when he becomes 60, 65, again, my father is great. So I think that's a whole shadow of being as an ecliptic like darkness to have that. But it's for me, I'm glad I realized that very soon because he's always been my mentor. He's always nurtured me, spoken, and in spite of like me being his cadet literally and he being one of the legends in the industry, he's always treated me so nicely. I mean, I can say like what I am today is purely because of him.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. And I would say कि मेरी when मतलब I would say कि it is my one of the regrets right now that I never met him in person. I never knew in person, but through your podcast, through your thoughts, I can relate to what kind of an aura would be having. This video is a tribute to him, and I would request all those seafarers, those who are watching this video, and those who have ever been impacted directly or indirectly by Captain Harry Subramaniam, please do share it with videos. This video with people, those who have
If I
been
can
impacted.
just interrupt, Pran, just like what you
Yes, sir,
said, so
please.
many people have told me we've never met him in person, but just by reading those books, we feel connected with him and your family through the the Nutshell series. So it's somehow the legacy moves on. So yeah, and you're meeting me, you're connecting to me, you're connecting with him basically.
I am connecting with him only, sir. I am connecting with him only. With this, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for
My
sharing this
pleasure.
with me.
Thanks, Pranit.